Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charmley, and this is our last stop in this trip up the Cliff Road from Carlton Scroop. This is the church of All Saints, Wellingore. Now we know that there was a church here at the time of the Doomsday Book, 1086. It would have been a wooden building, and the oldest parts of the present building are 12th century. The church has been altered and extended since. It has a 14th century tower and spire, and one or two interesting memorials. Like so many medieval churches, of course, it's altered at the Reformation and post-Reformation for Protestant worship, and then it's been somewhat medievalized again by the Victorians. So we'll have a look around and see what we can see, shall we? As usual, then we start at the west end, in this case under the tower arch. Looking east, we can see that there is a tall chancel arch. There's a clerestory, like so many added in the 15th century, and it does what it's supposed to do, which is give more light to the interior. The font is, the bowl does look relatively modern, but the base older. It's your typical two aisles and chancel and west tower here. This is the north aisle, and we have here the Lady Chapel at the east end. Lady Chapel, as is quite commonly the case, has the Mothers' Union banner in it, Mothers' Union being a Church of England women's organisation, as the name suggests, to support mothers. Here we have east window St Lawrence and St Martin, and here we have in memory of Captain Cyril Powell Smith of the Durham Light Infantry, who died in 1922, aged 25, so he got through the war, but not very much longer. Pulpit, this is a Georgian pulpit. It would have been the top of a three-decker. You can see in the south aisle there, north aisle, sorry, got the aisles the wrong way around. Again, it's what comes from coming in through the north aisle is you assume it's the south, and you know, no, east to north. So sorry about that. And looking east here, we have a modern carving of Leonardo's Last Supper, low side window. The sedilia are 12th century with those arched tops, and there is a very rare 13th century pillar piscina. So there we have the carving of Leonardo's Last Supper. Turning around, we can look west, and you can see there, probably that would have been a door for a gallery or something at the west end there. And you can see there those sticking out things, and that would have been where the rood beam would have been. We have in the aisle here by the organ, there is a knight and his lady, 14th century by the look of them, full plate armour. I said before, one of the difficulties in reconstructing what men wore in the Middle Ages is that most of these tombs, the man is wearing his armour, and it's the lady who is fashionably dressed, wearing her best clothes. And it's also to do, of course, with status, whether you fought or not. If you were a noble or a knight, you were supposed to be depicted in armour. So alabaster, of course, alabaster mined in Derbyshire. And down at the north aisle here. And they've got a nice history display here going all the way up to the year 2000. So there we have it, a very nice interior. So look at the outside now. And so here we are outside of Wellingore. Wellingore is a really convenient place to stop in this trip up the cliff. I'm looking out from here, I can see Leadenham and Caythorpe spires. The Cliff Road, of course, is Roman. It relates to the fact that the Romans, of course Lincoln is a Roman city, and it's one of their main hub points, one of their main connections. You will have noticed I don't have a script, I have sort of ideas and these are ad-libbed. So here we are outside, you can see the typical English parish church. This is a fairly small church, it's a lot smaller than Leadenham and Caythorpe and some of those other cliff churches. But still, it's that classic formed spire, recessed spire, so it's not as heavy as the broach spires which are earlier, and clerestory, etc. So we'll have a look around the outside. There's a bit of noise because we are beside the Cliff Road here, the A607. It is of course an A road, a major road, a lot of traffic on it. So Wellingore is one of the lesser, for want of a better word, cliff churches. That means it's smaller and it's less elaborate. Clearly there was less money here in the Middle Ages, and so what we've got is not a massive 14th century rebuild, but we have a 14th century and then later alterations to an existing Norman church. This is the south side, of course, and the north side appears always to be the main entrance houses. Well, unlike, of course, some of the other cliff churches. And along the churchyard here, there is a churchyard extension. Now, unfortunately, the sun is in the wrong place, but just actually see if we can do this. The Cliff Road is down here, and if we look out there, we can see there you may be able to see two church spires. Obviously they're easier to see in person, but there we are. We're on the edge of the cliff here, and there's the valley below. It is a spectacular road. It's a lovely drive down from Lincoln. Churches by the side. There are churches almost every mile along it, in some parts. It is very, very lovely, and I say this is one of the smaller churches along here, but it is every bit as interesting as the bigger, more elaborate ones, although in its own way. It amazes me actually how many of these are still open and still in use, because they are so close to each other. There is one at Normanton on Cliff that is closed, and thankfully it's managed by the Churches Conservation Trust, so it's not a hasn't been sold often into housing, but it surprises me that there's only one that's been made redundant, because there are so many along here. And that's because Lincoln was a major medieval city. It's still an important city today, although things have changed since then. So here we are here we are on the north side. You can see there the porch, this north aisle. Again, you've got this thing. I didn't want to point the camera into the sun because that gives you a bad time, and it's oh, there we go, not very helpful. So this is I suppose it's a more comfortable size, really, a more domestic's perhaps the wrong word, but perhaps a more modest building than Wellingore, Caythorpe, etc., Fulbeck, etc. But here we have the best window in the place. Just going to come around to this. This is a proper window with its, you can see, a bit of medieval carving around it, and this bit has been renewed at the top, and it's all slightly weathered because of all the cars going past. But you know, we live in the real world, right? Pause there. And so there you have it, All Saints Wellingore. I'm sure you'll agree that it is a very neat and interesting little, relatively little, medieval church here on, just beside, in fact, the Cliff Road from Lincoln down towards Grantham. So thank you for watching. watching, and may God bless you and keep you until next time.